All right, so I'm here with Vina from Blome Design Co. And I'm so excited to talk to her. She is a brand and packaging designer who works with small businesses in the conscious lifestyle and wellness space. So, yeah, I'm just so excited to talk to you, Vina.
Me too.
So, let's start by talking a bit about who you are and how you started your business. I'd love to hear just more about your story and, like, when did you know you wanted to be a designer, and how did you get started?
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, Abby, for doing this. I am I'm the person behind Blome Design Co. So
Mm-hmm.
I started like graphic design has always been in my mind actually since I was a teenager, but somehow, life take me in a long journey and expected detours before
Mm-hmm.
I came back to pursue my creative pursuits. Actually, quite similar like you. I moved across the world after marrying my husband. So I moved from Singapore to the US,
Oh,
and
that's so funny.
yes, I left my corporate job and finally decided to take a plunge on design. So I
Mm-hmm.
took a course on graphic design, completed my graphic design specialization, and start freelancing in 2018. So after a year of freelancing, I fell deeply in love with branding and I decided to set up my own design studio. Oh, by then we returned to Singapore,
Mm-hmm.
so offering branding services to small business owners. And I also chose to niche into conscious lifestyle and wellness brands because I feel like trying to find a place that really excites me, and I'm really drawn into this space. And I thought like aligning myself and my interest in my work will help me to really relate and understand my clients better. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like how I get started and how I decided to set up my business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's so cool that it also kind of started with you making a really big international
Yeah,
move.
shift.
I know, I know for me that was very scary,
Yes, it is
like
really
career
scary.
wise. Yeah, it was
Yes.
just a lot, and to like try to start a new business right when you've just moved to a totally new place can be
Hmm.
very overwhelming as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. And so now, like, since you started kind of when you had moved, but then, now you've moved back to Singapore, do you mostly work with clients in Singapore, or do you work with clients in other countries as well?
Actually, my client has been pretty diverse. So they
Yeah.
come from different places. So I'm working with clients from Indonesia. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
originally from Indonesia. So that's a
Okay.
client from there. I have clients in Singapore. I recently completed a project with a client in Australia and
Oh,
starting a new
awesome.
one in Japan. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's so
they've
cool.
been kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I would love to hear about the meaning behind your business name, Blome, because I feel like it's a very unique name. And yeah, I just wanted to know why you chose that.
Oh, thank you. So actually, the whole inspiration comes from a quote. It's this quote actually, "Bloom
Oh,
where you're
nice.
planted." So it's just a quote that are very quite familiar, but it just doesn't really like hit home to me until that specific period where I was overseas and trying to figure out
Mm-hmm.
what to do next for my career move. And yeah, so I feel like the meaning behind the quote was like trying to use whatever resources and skills that you have at that time and to blossom.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it has a very meaning for me. And also the way the word I chose the word like from the blossoming, and I chose like this old Scandinavian word that is bloom, that means
Mm-hmm.
to blossom.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like trying to set that as a base for my business. I wanted to use my unique skills to come alongside my client and to see them blossom. So it's a Scandi rooted name because I'm inspired by all things Scandinavian minimalist design. And I think
Mhm.
it's quite apparent from my kind of work and minimal work that I like to do. So that's kind of how it all gets together, and that's how I chose Bloom.
Yeah, so let's talk about because you've been in my course, and I wanted to ask kind of whenever you first decided to enroll in it, um, yeah, kind of what made you want to enroll? Like, how long has you been in business, and like, what were you struggling with, or what were you hoping to get out of the course?
Okay, so I was actually in my first year of business,
Mm-hmm.
and I was feeling overwhelmed like most of the time. I was
Mm-hmm.
questioning myself a lot and wondering if I'm actually doing things right. I knew I needed to set up a proper branding process, and once I decided to do branding and kind of like elaborate my decisions and rationale to my clients, but I'm really not sure how to do that well, and in a
Mm-hmm.
way that can really explain how I wanted to deliver the message to the client. So I really wanted to have a workflow that I can feel confident in, and to really be able to guide my client well throughout the process.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's where I started like just feeling overwhelmed. And besides the design process, I was also struggling a lot with bigger issues like how to price myself and what kind of business tools I need to invest in, or basically just the basic know-how of running a design business. I felt so alone in my journey and figuring things out, and I wanted to be a part of group that gets me and able to support me. And that's when I came across your master class.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, in that video, you're just so honest with all your struggles and everything. I feel like your story resonated so well with me, especially that part that you move overseas and stuff.
Yeah.
You just seem to really meet me at where I was at that time, and really connects, and everything seems to just click. And I knew I just need to sign up for your course like
Mm-hmm.
ASAP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and I feel like I mean, everyone struggles with all of those things that you mentioned, because it's not really something that anyone teaches you.
Yeah, totally.
Whether you go to like school for design or you teach yourself or something, I don't know, it's just very different. Of course, to be a good designer, you have to learn, you know, how to create logos and like learn
Mm.
about typography and colors and stuff, but there's this whole other side with
Like being a business owner is like a
yeah,
totally different skills, like
yeah,
different set of
yeah,
skills. Yeah.
yeah, it's really hard. And I don't know if you feel this way, but I felt like being a creative person, sometimes I felt like those business side things just felt extra difficult for me because I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like just being
Yes, I got it.
a
Yeah.
creative minded person, having to think about business stuff and like pricing and
Yeah.
contracts.
It's so
It's stuff
tough.
that yeah, it just doesn't like come naturally to me to think
Yeah.
about those things.
Mm.
And so since you joined the course, what has been your favorite part, or something that you felt like was the most helpful for you?
Mm. Actually, for me, it's basically seeing the entire process, like your entire process in the course. It really helped me to know what's lacking on my process.
Mm-hmm.
You basically walked us through each process in great detail, and that made it so easy for us to follow. And that's something I really love about the course. And you also take the time to really elaborate like every rationale behind your process of why you do things a certain way and everything. And I think that really is very helpful, and you give us tips to streamline our own process and encourage us to find what works for us, instead of like really trying to find like cookie cutter approach, like just copy paste my process and
Mm-hmm.
that's it. You're going to be a successful designer. And that's what I really admire about you and your course, and how open you are at sharing what works for you, and how you kept reminding us that each of our journeys are different, and are unique to us. And I think that is a reminder that impacts me deeply as I set up my own business. It's really empowering, and I think it helps to nurture a healthy mindset as well. So that's
Mm-hmm.
definitely something that I just feel like you go all in to explain and to give the rationale, and you're not like trying to hold things back and stuff, which is awesome.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad that you feel that way, because I do think, I mean, for me, obviously, I have also like taken courses from other designers and tried to like learn things. And
Mm,
I think I've personally felt where like sometimes people teach you something as like this is the only way that you should
yeah.
do it. But and I would feel like, especially since I started my business from a very unique experience moving
Mm,
across the world and everything, there were lots of like, I don't know, sometimes where people would give me advice and I would be like, that doesn't apply to me, or like I can't do it exactly that way. So that's
mm,
why I feel like I try to, in the course, like you said, always remind people that, yeah, this is the way I do it, but maybe it's not the best way for you to do it.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can take what works for you and, make changes in other
Mm,
places where
yeah.
you
I think
need
it's
to.
it's really cool to highlight that, because sometimes like when you're new and you're a beginner, you just get lost, and whatever you tell us, you're like, okay, I'll do it. But
Yeah.
like you really give us like the rationale which equipped us to think further for what we want for our business. So I think that is a really good thing that I
Mm-hmm.
learned from the course.
Mm-hmm.
Besides like all the details and everything that comes with the course, that really helps with my process.
So after taking the course, how has your business changed, or has there been any like anything that you feel has improved or anything like that?
I definitely feel so much more confident in my own process. I'm able to guide and make my clients feel very well cared for as well. I basically learned how to deliver a good and thoughtful experience for my client. I know what to ask in order to get a good feedbacks and move forward on the project. I know how to respond to difficult emails. I know what kind of tools that I can use to utilize and help me with my process. So I actually receive like great testimonies from my
Mm-hmm.
clients at the end of our project, and they all kind of say that my process is very thoughtful and clear, and they felt guided throughout the branding process. So I guess that's all thanks to you, Abby.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that because I that was the biggest thing that I think I struggled with in the beginning, was just feeling confident. I always felt like, man, I don't know what I'm doing, and clients are gonna notice that I don't know
I
what
think
I'm
they
doing.
will see through us, like if we're
Yeah,
not confident, they will see through us. So I think it's really
yeah.
important that like you are confident with what you do. And I think taking your course has really helped me build that confidence. I'm just like not going in blindly, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
equipped. I know what to ask. I know how to guide them basically, and that's really important for me
Mm-hmm.
in terms of giving that client experience. And I think my client really appreciate that kind of
Mm-hmm.
guidance from me as well.
Yeah. And I think that that's also a big part of, for designers, when it comes to pricing yourself. Um,
Oh
Confidence is
yes,
a huge part of
totally.
it, because if you really have to feel like what you're offering is worth it in order to,
Mm.
convince the client that it's worth it. So have you noticed that as well?
Yes,
Mhm.
definitely. I feel like I struggle so much with pricing, but now that I'm very clear about my process and my workflow, and I even get that good feedback from my client, I'm
Mhm.
very confident that, that what I'm delivering is of good value, and and they can really see it and they experience it. So I think that definitely helps in terms of process confident as well as pricing. And I've been
Mm-hmm.
able to almost triple my price
Oh,
from where
wow.
I started now, and
Mm-hmm.
just like to slowly building that confidence, and that kind of like process is really one of the biggest factor in terms of how confident I am to charge
Mm-hmm.
for what it is. Of course, I still keep on like, improving my design
Yeah.
skills and everything, but the process and the experience is definitely one of them that helps me get to where I want to
Mm-hmm.
be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like once you have your process down, it kind of like you don't have to worry about that part anymore. And then you can just worry about, like you said, improving your
Improving better and
skills.
better. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
totally. Actually, that's the reason why I don't want to do like freelance and decided to do like a branding studio itself,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just so overwhelming when you do like a freelance job and they come to you with a specific task and you don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
guide them. So I think doing it this way and having the ability to, set yourself almost like the expert and guide them,
Mm-hmm.
it's a much better way of doing business.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah. So do you think that this course is like a good fit for any specific type of designer? Of course, you were still in the first year.
Mm.
So yeah, do you think that there's like a type of designer that this course would be a good fit for? And is there anything that you would like that you think they should know about it if they're
Mm.
if they're thinking about enrolling?
Of course, I think the course will fit for all kinds of designer, especially if you're new and feeling so overwhelmed like me in the beginning. I think you will get the most out of it if
Mm-hmm.
you're in the beginning stage. Of course, there's also like a lot of benefits if you join like after, but like in the beginning, this course will really like help guide you through and set yourself up like much faster so you can focus on doing what you love, like the designing
Mm-hmm.
and everything. And I think if you want to also connect with people and to know that you're not alone in this journey, you don't need to be alone in this journey, I think this course will be perfect for you. I
Mm-hmm.
actually particularly love your true story section in the course, where you
Mm-hmm.
share like raw and honest stories about your mistakes that you made in the past, or how you deal with like a client situations. And I think those stories are one of those that are very like it shows like how authentic you are, and how like each of the journey is going to be different, but that's very meaningful for me. And actually one of those stories also helped me get past a sticky situation with my client.
Really?
Yes. And I also love your Q&A sessions, so kind of like know that, whenever I face a difficult situation in my own process or something, I know like every month I might be able to, post question, or even in a Facebook group whenever, to ask for guidance from you or from all the other designers in the group. And the guest expert sessions that you brought into the course, I learned so much from each and every one of them, and applying all the things that I learned from those experts, good guest experts, also helped me to improve my client experience even better. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, definitely a game changer for a business, for any design business. I think it will do the same for everyone who is thinking of joining your course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I'm glad that you like the true story lessons as well, because I think they're my favorite part, really, because whenever I was first like thinking of creating the course, I that was like one of the main things that I knew I wanted to be in there, because I was, for me, being a new designer, all I really wanted, if I would like watch a webinar or something, yeah, it was helpful to hear, the standard things that people would teach, but I
Mm,
was like, I want to know when
the day to
the
day, like
yeah, and I want to know when the people that I like looked up to, I want to know when they did something really really wrong. And because that's when we that's when we learn the most, is whenever we
Yes.
make a mistake. And so, yeah, I'm glad that that you like that part too, because
Yeah,
it's,
I really love
I really,
it.
and it's sometimes I feel weird about it because anytime basically it's just become that anytime I make a mistake, I record a video about it and upload it. And it's like, I'm doing it, you know, still to this day, because obviously I still make mistakes. And sometimes that feels weird for me to share, because I think sometimes you join courses and it's just all like, you know, talking about the good things and getting results and being better. But I don't know. I guess
I think you should continue to share. I love that part.
Yeah.
And I hope, like, you know, there's more in the community that will share and open up as well. And I think that will really, really help to, you know, to just really tell everyone that we are in this journey to learn together, to improve ourselves better. And and it's just very valuable part of the course.
Yeah. And I think it's always helpful, because I do feel like anytime I do share a story about where I did something very wrong and and, you know, whatever, how I tried to fix it or whatever, there's usually at least like one or two students in the course who will message me or email me and say, oh, I had this happen too. So it is kind of, I don't know, it's very nice just to know that there are people in the course who are at all different stages, people who are brand new and people who've been designers longer than I have. And everyone is dealing with similar things still. It doesn't matter necessarily how much experience you have. Everyone, you know, struggles with frustrating client situations, but it's easier to get through them if we talk about them, and, you know.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It just, if not, it just feel like it's just all on us or like on me, you know, it's always just I'm the one who is wrong or something. But it could be just like, just not everyone is meant to be your client, or like, you know, not all working relationships end up to be a good one. So
yeah,
it's good to know like how we navigate through that, and just to be able to go through that period.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Vina, for sharing about your experience and everything. I'm so
You're most
happy
welcome.
that you're in the course. And yeah, I will share links for everyone to follow you and see your beautiful work and everything. And yeah, just thank you again for
I just
everything.
also wanted to say thank you to you for putting everything of this together for all of us. I don't think I would be where I am today without your course. So thank you, Abby.
Oh, that makes me so happy to hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you.